And welcome back to American Agenda. People on social media are using the hashtag #ReopenAmerica to push for the country to get back up and running. That brings us to our tweet of the day. One user writing, if a hair salon owner opens her store and I voluntarily go get my hair cut, I fail to see how that affects Karen, who hasn't left her house in 3 weeks and has been ordering all her Whole Foods organic produce online. Let people make up their own minds already. Hashtag Reopen America. So should we accept the risk and reopen as soon as possible? Let's ask our A-plus panel for the day. Joining us now, American Spectator columnist and former associate political director in the Ronald Reagan administration, Jeffrey Lord. And also with us, former chairman of the Associated Republicans of Texas and finance chairman for Republican Rick Perry's 2012 presidential campaign, George C. So George, your state is in the middle of opening up. And it could have been a beauty salon that person was referring to right there in Texas. So what are your thoughts here?
I think it's a case-by-case basis, state by state, but I think the sooner we open up, the better. The damage that's being incurred on a personal side, irrespective of the virus, is significant. You're seeing a lot of deaths by suicide or other diseases, and you're having people out of work and falling into despair. So we need to get going. But at the same time, those who are desperate to get going, and any right-thinking person would be, needs to take the necessary precautions to make other people feel safe. Wearing a mask in public makes sense. Keeping social distancing makes sense. But by golly, get back to work. Get America rolling again. We're all ready to do that.
Jeffrey, I'm talking to a lot of people who are saying this. Why does it matter if a hair salon opens? If I don't want to go, I don't have to go. That's a valid point, right? People can make choices if they want to go out or not, and we can open up some businesses for the sake of progress. What do you think?
I have to tell you, I received a text from a woman friend, on Friday, and she began, "Shh, I have a secret." Well, what is the secret? The secret was that this very day, today, she is going to a neighboring county to a hair salon to get her hair done.
She feels like a criminal. My goodness, don't tell anyone.
Seriously, we were going back and forth about whether or not the shop owner would be arrested or whether she would be arrested. We're having this as a serious conversation. Pennsylvania at this point has two colors, yellow counties and red counties. And this is I'm in a red county. The place where this hair salon is going to open is in a red county.
And what does that mean, by the way, red and yellow?
Yeah, the governor of Pennsylvania, in other words, is saying that if you're in a yellow county, you can reopen some things. If you're in a red county, you're not supposed to reopen things. And now what's happened as a result of this is that several counties right where I live in central Pennsylvania, and interestingly, Republicans and Democrats both who are running these counties are in pretty close to open rebellion and saying that they're going to tell their counties, you can forget what the governor says. This is not a dictatorship. We have a constitution. If you want to open your business, you go ahead. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, George, it does seem like more and more people, and I say regardless of party, are realizing, wow, this really did hurt the economy. We really do need to go back to work.
I think the worst part of that is that it's not only devastating now, but it's going to be really hard to just flip the switch and go back to 100% full speed ahead. I think that's what people are underestimating, that you're going to have a lot of job losses.
And describe what the problem will be, George. I don't disagree with you, but what will the problem be?
Well, when you have restructurings, and we're going to have an awful lot of bankruptcies and an awful lot of employees that never go back to work, it just slows everything down. You have a process where you have to restructure assets, and some businesses have a hard time coming back to full bore. And also, you've got a lot of industries that are going to be changed for years from this, whether it's travel, whether it's leisure, whether it's restaurants. I mean, you can go down a list of probably 10 to 20 affected industries that aren't going to be the same anytime soon. So that makes it even more imperative to get going now, because it's going to be a hard lift. It's going to be a big lift for various industries and for the entire country, even with all this Fed and Treasury support.
Jeffrey, some of what we're seeing, too, is when people venture out and about, it almost becomes a political statement as to whether or not you wear a mask. Are you conservative or are you more liberal? I mean, would you agree with that, or what are you seeing and hearing?
I think it can in some cases. Now, when I go out, as I did yesterday, to the grocery store, the grocery store has a requirement that you have a mask on, and I indeed have a mask on when I go and do this, and also gloves. And as I look around, I mean, first of all, they're not going to let you in the store, literally, if you don't have a mask on. So, when you've got people in the private sector insisting on this, and I think this is an important point, rather than the government doing it, have the private sector, have the institution do it. And as I think I said to you before, I had a small business owner, mom and pop store owner, say, why is this okay to do in grocery stores and Targets and that sort of thing? But, you got to keep my business closed because I can't treat people the same way with the mask and all that. Good question.
Yeah, George, I've been flying. The planes are now half full. I had one that was 2/3 full. And I think people will go back unless they see a rise again in fatalities.
We're going to see a rise again almost inevitably. There's very little we know about this virus so far, but one thing that all the experts are predicting is that we're going to have a renewed wave in the fall. So I think the country needs to be psychologically prepared that that's just going to be the case. I want to come back to the salon owner because that kind of typifies the whole partisan aspect of this, which is just ridiculous.
Right.
And I think the reason
we got to go right now, George. We'll talk to you again in just a few minutes, but you're absolutely right. A lot of people look at it just like you're describing. George C. and Jeffrey Lord, thank you.
Coming up, we'll have continuing coverage of the coronavirus crisis.